I thought recording a video would be the fastest way to give you some help with this. So if we're looking to see if a function is a function or if a graph makes a function, is we're going to pass the vertical line test. So what that happens is if we got a graph, let's see the vertical line test. If we drop a line through a graph, it better only cross once because we can't have the same x given as two y. So for like this question, it's that happens at 5. That's definitely a function. C here is not a function because when x equals what is it, -1, that can be what? -1.5. I'm eyeballing that point right there. It looks like -1 and -1/2. And then this one looks like it's about -1, 2. So you can't have the same x giving us more than one y. There's this thing called a mapping diagram, and sometimes what'll happen is they'll give us some x's. Let's do -5. I'll do -5, -1, and I'll do +2. Okay, and if this is x, and here's y. Let me get rid of that y. Let me move that up. How do I undo this? Let's erase it here. So what'll happen is for the -5, when I look at -5, I see that looks like about -2. So 5 gets mapped only to -2. So that doesn't, when x is -5, it doesn't go to two values. So that part's okay. But then when you look at that -1, when x equals -1, that gets mapped to -1.5, -1/2, and then at +2. So because that -1 has 3 different possible y values, not a function. Okay, and you can tell this from a table of values too. If they give us a table of values, they'll have something x and y. I know you weren't asking about the tables and any kind of mapping diagram, but since it goes along with this, so I would do -5. I get -2, and then I would do -1, and then the -1 could be -1.5, and -1 could be -0.5, and then -1 could be 2, and then when x equals 2, y is what's y? Y is about a little bit better than 2. I didn't call it 2.1. So that would go to 2.1. So that's 2.1. So you see how that x repeats. If x is repeating, it better have the exact same y values. Otherwise, it's not a function. And then so I think so that's not a function either, right? And this is certainly a function, and that's a function because there's only crossing the axis once. The x only gives us one value. Then the other one that you were going astray with was the whole idea of 1-to-1. So let me delete all these drawings. So it's first off, it's got to be a function. So this is not a 1-to-1 function because it's not a function. Same thing there. Now A or B, those are functions, but if you draw the horizontal line test, you see how the same y, is occurring. So I have 3 different x values that produce the same y, not 1-to-1. Same thing with that sine curve or whatever it is, not 1-to-1. That's 1-to-1. It only crosses the axis once. This is not 1-to-1 because there's many y values that are the same. So the only graph on this whole set of 6 graphs that make a 1-to-1 function is choice C. Okay, here we can scroll down and go to the one in the book. This is from section 1.1 in the book too. Let's see, let me delete all this. And then let's scroll down. Let's find 1-to-1. There was some more functions. See, here's some table. These are some table values, right? And then they get us to 1-to-1. So here, see how the y is repeating? It's a function, but it's not 1-to-1. Not 1-to-1. This is just not a function because the x's are repeating. Not a function, this is a function, and it is also one-to-one, because if you draw that, I don't know if you can see my pointer going. Maybe I gotta get the pointer going. See how that doesn't cross the y-axis more than once, or doesn't cross the function more than once there? A one-to-one. A one-to-one function. Whoops, what did I just do? I zoomed it in. Now how do I do it? Adobe is so finicky sometimes. Oh, I don't know. Don't know what I did. Can I? No, I don't want to zoom in. I think I just messed this up. Here, let's double click on this. Does this go back now? It's zoomed in. Oh, well, I think you got the idea. I'll make this video longer while you're going along. So one-to-one functions have to be a function, and they have to only cross the horizontally once. Okay, hopefully that helps, unless you go back and you don't have to read. Those questions are done pretty much all the way. So I don't know if I would go back and redo them, but just make sure you understand the difference. We'll use one-to-one functions when we start talking about inverses in section 6, 1.6, and then again in chapter 5. Is it 5? Chapter 4, sorry. Okay. All right. It's a long enough video. Let me know if you need more help.